Hi everyone, welcome back to MUS119. Today we're going to talk about Module 4B, Identifying Intervals. This lecture also has this funny title named that gap. Gap is basically just talking about intervals, right? It's really a gap between two notes. Okay, if you know what that interval is, maybe you can email me and maybe you'll get some extra credit. Anyways, now let's look at this chart again. These are all things that you have seen before. The very first one at the top that you see is the intervals based on a major scale. So once again, 1, 4, 5, and 8. Unison, fourth, fifth, and octave. These are the stable sounding spiritual intervals, right? Very calming. And then you have the major second, major third, major sixth, major seventh. So make sure that you remember these clearly and separately. And the next one on the bottom left is the chart that shows you the intervals, still the intervals based on the major scale, but with their corresponding number of half steps. So please remember the number of half steps. Those are 0 to 4, a little break, and then 5, 7, 11, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12. And then on the bottom right corner, you see that little sliding scale where we go from perfect interval, we add one half step, becomes an augmented interval. We take a perfect interval, we take a half step away, it becomes a diminished interval, right? So same thing on the right, we have major, you add a half step, becomes augmented, you take away a half step, becomes minor, and then another half step away, diminished. So please make sure that you remember all of this and you're clear. If you're not, please go back to the previous lecture and watch everything because you really need to understand this 100% in order to do the later assignments. All right, now we're going to actually look at some examples. So what we have here first is an A flat. And then the top one is a D. So from A to D, A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means we have a distance of a fourth. Remember, this is always going to be your first step. Start with the letters. You don't have to care whether it's a flat or sharp, what kind of accidentals they have. You don't have to care at all. But make sure you count your letters correctly. A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's, one part of your answer already done. So if you get this right, maybe I will give you half credit. But this is really, really easy. Okay. And the next step here is now that we know that we're looking at a fourth, well, you see the color coding? That's going to be a perfect fourth or something that's, that comes out of a perfect interval. So perfect fourth has what? 5 half steps. Well, okay, now the first thing I think we can do now is to actually plot these notes on the piano. So we can go from A flat, which is here. This is A flat, and then D. And let's see if we have 5 half steps in between. Because if we do, then we can say, hey, this is a perfect fourth. But we might not have that. So from A flat, let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, 6. What does that mean? That means that we have added 1 half step to that perfect fourth. So a perfect fourth with 1 half step added would become what? Perfect 1 half step added. That would be an augmented. So this is an augmented fourth. So perfect fourth would be this. Very stable. But then an augmented fourth. It sounds very, very dissonant actually. Compare that with really stable, right? That's a perfect fourth. This is augmented fourth. All right, so moving on, we have a C and a B flat. And for now, let me just delete all of the writings. Now what we have here is a C and a B flat. You can go ahead and just plot them on the piano, starting from C and a B flat. Now, C to B, if you count C, D, E, F, G, A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's an interval of a seventh. And we still don't know whether it's going to be a major 7 or a minor 7 or an augmented 7 or a diminished 7. We don't know yet, and we'll figure out. So what we do know is that if it's a major 7, then it would be 11 half steps. So let's count how many half steps there are in between. So from C, if we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, what we know is 11. That's a major 7th. Now we have 10. So minus 1. That makes it what? Major 7 minus 1 is minor 7. So this one is a minor 7. And it sounds like... Sounds pretty good, actually. Okay, now moving on. The next one that we have here... And actually, let me delete all of the writings. Let's see. Okay, the second one, you know it's a minor 7. Okay, the next one is a G and a D. A G and a D. So G, D. Go ahead and plot those on the keyboard first. So G, D. G and D. These are what we're looking at. So G to D, if you count the letter names, G, A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that's going to be 5. And the next step is to come to the interval chart, right? So a fifth is always going to be perfect. So perfect fifth has how many half steps? 7 half steps. That's what we know. Now, let's see, G to D. Let's count if we have 7 half steps. From G to D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, you got lucky. This is a perfect fifth. That's this interval. Good. Now, moving on, the next one is going to be what? We have E and B. Remember the eyeballing that I was talking about? If you look at these two notes, the first one is a line note, the second one is also a line note with a line in between them. So if you are experienced enough with reading music, or if you got really good at eyeballing, then you would know, hey, that's a fifth. Okay, but also we can go the more foolproof route, which is to count the letter names. So from E, we count up to B. So E, F, G, A, B. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is also a fifth. So now let's take E, which is here. Totally forgot to erase it. So starting from E, we go to a B sharp. B sharp is going to be actually C, right? The same note as C. So B sharp and E. Okay, so a perfect fifth has 7 half steps. Let's count how many half steps these two notes has. So from E, we'll go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we have one more half step than a perfect fifth, which makes it an augmented fifth. Okay, because we are adding one half step onto a perfect interval. So augmented fifth, this is a perfect fifth, augmented fifth. Okay, now 2 more examples left. So here, please make sure that you're reading very, very carefully. And while you're reading, let me delete these ones. Okay, and just give me a second so that you can still have all of the answers here. G to D, that's a perfect fifth. E to B sharp, that's an augmented fifth. Now, I want you to be very, very careful when it comes to, notes that are really close to each other and it has accidentals. So the first one is a C and the next note is a D flat, because this flat is written right here, horizontal to the D, not in front of the C. Okay, so make sure you read it very carefully. C to D, C, D, 1, 2. That's the distance of a second. Now let's figure out whether it's a major, minor, diminished, or augmented. So what we know is a second, you would only have a major or minor, right? So major second gives you 2 half steps. So if we plot these on the piano, we have a C and a D flat. How many half steps do we have in between them? From C, just 1 half step. So, which means if a major second has 2 half steps, and at this time we have only 1 half step, that makes it minor second. We're reducing from major to minor. Okay, now last example. The last example, we have F and we have D. So from F to D, let's count the letter names. F, G, A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a sixth. We still don't know whether it's a major, minor, augmented, diminished. So first thing we want to do is to go to the piano and plot them. So go to the piano, starting from an F, and then we plot D, which is the next note, right? F and D. So it's a sixth. Based on what we know so far, a sixth would be a major sixth. Well, a major sixth would have 9 half steps. So let's count how many half steps are between these two notes. So from F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So do we have what we already know? Yes. So this is what? 9 half steps, a major sixth. You just have to put in the answer. Okay, so hopefully this is clear and simple enough for you to understand, and this would allow you to also complete the first exercise in this chapter. So, all right, I'll see you in the next lecture. Take care.